All right, in section 8.4, we will be looking at the basically your monthly payment over an installment loan. We're not really going to be doing a whole lot with it, but you'll see when we get there. So let's go back to the 8.3 notes. You purchase a new TV for $2,250. You make a down payment of 15% and finance the rest. What is the amount that is financed? So again, there are two different ways you could do this. The one way would be to just figure out how much you put on your down payment. So if we take our $2,250 and we multiply this by 15%, this will give you how much money you put down, which in this case would be $337.50. Then you can take your $2,250 and subtract the amount that you put down as your down payment to give you a grand total of $1,912.50. Okay, so this actually answers the question of how much money did you have to put down. Okay, you could also do, like I've been saying before, you could take your $2,250, whatever the amount is, and multiply that by the amount financed. So if you put 15% down, that means you're financing 85%. So if you take $2,250 times 85%, you will end up with the same amount. All right, so three kind of formulas. I mean, we've been talking about these and using these all along, but there's a little bit different concept here. So first of all, interest, we've done this a lot. Principal is the amount that you put down, the rate, whatever the percentage is, and the time. You know, if it's 6 months, you're going to do 1/2. If it's 20 days, it'll be 20 over 365 or 20 over 360 if you're talking about an ordinary interest. You know, all those things that we've been talking about. The payment to principal, basically what that's going to do is going to take your monthly payment and it's going to subtract off the interest amount, okay? The interest amount is the amount of money that goes to the bank for their operating fees, and basically that's like your fee for borrowing money from them. The monthly payment will actually be the total amount that you're paying every month, and then out of that monthly payment, some of it goes to interest and some of it goes to principal, okay? So your new principal, pretty simple and straightforward. You take your old balance and subtract your payment to principal to get your new balance or your new principal, okay? Now on page, I forget what page it is, 224 or something like that in your textbook, you'll see this table here, okay? There is a copy of your textbook in the materials section of Google Classroom, but this is the table that's in there. So what we're going to look at in this first example, Stephanie and Donald Cole obtain a loan for $1,800 at 8% interest for 6 months as shown in this repayment schedule above. All right, now it was just a 6-month loan. So over those 6 months, their monthly payment was $307.08. The interest amount is calculated after each payment. So this $12 came from the original amount. And that's what we're going to do in the first part of this problem is where did that $12 come from? The amount to principal, that's basically just taking your monthly payment and subtracting off your amount for the interest. So that's your amount to principal. This amount to principal is what's subtracted from your balance to give you the new amount that is owed. And you can see that through this payment, if we continue this out, your final amount, and there's a little note here, but the final amount will be a negative number. So basically what that means is your final payment, instead of being the $307.08, it would actually be 25 cents less than that because you end up paying 25 cents over. Okay, so if we look at, what is that final payment actually going to be, instead of being 307.08, it would actually be 306. You can't really see this because it's kind of over the line there, 83. All right, so that is what the final amount would be, and that's what people do, banks do when they try to figure out your final payment, is they'll figure out how much you will overpay, and then they'll subtract that off the amount. So, okay, what we are going to do now is use this table to answer these questions 1, A, B, and C, and questions 2, A, B, and C as well. So I will refer to this table here when we do those two values. All right, so let's go through these examples here. So what is the interest? We already know the interest is $12. So what I'm going to do is figure out, well, where did that 12 come from? So we're going to start off with our principal amount of $1,800, and we multiply by our percent, which is 8%. Now, because this is out of 6 months, what we're going to do is, since we're talking about months, this is out of 12, because there's 12 months in a year. And because we're only looking at the first month, we're basically ignoring the rest of the table. We're just looking at the first month, so that'll be 1 out of 12 months. Okay, so 1 out of 12 months. So take your calculator, do 1,800 times 8%, or 0.08, times 1 divided by 12, and you can see that is where the $12 comes from. Okay, so over the 6 months would basically be like, if we replace this 1 with a 6, that would be, you would be basically charged $72 over the entire 6 months if you were making that one payment out, 6 months later, like we did with the simple interest. Or not the simple interest, the installment, where it was just basically like you took out a loan and you paid the whole thing back 6 months later. But since we're doing this in installments, this is going to be calculated every month. Okay, and you'll see I'll do the second one here in the next example. So anyway, that's where the $12 comes from. All right, now let's continue this out. What is the payment to principal? We already know the payment to principal is $295.08. All right, but where does that come from? Well, that's going to come from taking our monthly payment, which is $307.08, and subtracting the interest. Okay, so if you take 307.08 and you subtract the interest of $12, you can see that you're going to get $295.08, which is exactly the amount that went to the principal. Okay, so that's your amount that went to principal, $295.08. So the last question, I'm going to be scrolling up and down here on this last one because I can't fit part C on here. If I didn't have this watermark, I'd fit it over here, but it's just going to get messy if I try to do that. So I'm going to scroll up and down. The last part is asking you, what is the new principal? So first of all, to find the new principal, we're going to start with the old principal. And then we're going to subtract. Now, you don't want to make the mistake of subtracting off the monthly payment, because your monthly payment doesn't go all to the principal. We had some that was for your interest rate, and that was $12. So this amount, $295.08, is what's subtracted, because that was the amount that was going towards your principal amount. So we need to subtract those 1,800, and I'm going to do this in the calculator just to make sure that there isn't a mistake in this table. So 1,800 minus 295.08 will give you 1504.92. So let's scroll up here. 1504.92, that's what they got also, so we know we did it correctly. Okay, so there's your new balance. So I'm going to start with the 150492 in my next problem. Okay, so I'm just going to jot it down off to the side here, 1504.92. All right, we want to show how do we get the interest for the second month. So we're going to start with our new principal, 1504.92. The interest rate has not changed, so that is still 8%. And we're multiplying by, again, this is out of months, so it's divided by 12, and this is the second month, but you don't want to say 2, okay, because it's still a 1 month period. All right, so it's still 1 month out of 12 months. All right, so let's see what we get here, 150492, and we're going to multiply, multiply by our 8%, so 0.08, and we're going to multiply that by 1 divided by 12 again. To get 10, you're going to end up getting 10.0328, which, since we're dealing with money, 10.03. Well, look at what they got here. What'd they get? 10.03, same number. What is the payment to principal? So the payment to principal, again, our monthly payment is $307.08. It's always that. That's the same payment every month except for the last month. So we're going to subtract from this $10.03. Okay, $10.03. So 307.08, do this in your calculator, minus 10.03 is 297.05. So 297.05, and I'm going to scroll back here. 297.05, and you can see more of our money is going towards the principal every month because we're paying it down. Our interest rate is less, not the rate, I'm sorry, the interest amount is less. The interest rate is still 8%, but the interest amount is less every month, about $2 every month. We can see it going down. So our amount to principal will go up. Less money in interest, more money in principal. All right, so the last thing we want to do is figure out what is the new balance. So we're going to start out with our $1,504.92, and we will subtract our amount to principal, which was $297.05. All right, now we already know what the answer is here because we got it on the other paper, or on the other side, I should say, but we want to make sure that we are doing this correctly. So we want to subtract those to show that we got 1207.87. So let's verify 1207.87, same number, we're good. Okay, and we could repeat this until we get to the end. I'm not going to do any more steps. That kind of proves the point here. So that's one way. You could be given a table and asked to fill in some values of the table. The other way is you could just be given some information and asked something about it. So here we go. Carlo obtained a home improvement loan of $6,000. We're staying at 8% interest, but now it's over 36 months. Okay. The monthly payment is $187.80. So what we want to do is we want to figure out the interest on the first month. What is the interest on the first payment? So we're going to start out with our our principal amount, $6,000. We're going to multiply this by our interest rate of 8%. And we're still talking about months, so it's still going to be out of 12 months. And again, this is 1 month out of 12 months. Okay, so $6,000, enter this on your calculator, 6,000 times 0.08 times 1 divided by 12. And you can see here that the first month had an interest amount of $40. Okay, so $40 in the first month. Now, after 20 payments, the principal amount is down to $2,849.08. And I want to know what is the interest for the 21st payment. So we're going to start with our new principal, $2,849.08. Same process, times 8% times 1/12. Okay, so 2,849.08. And we're going to multiply this by our 1/12 again, 1 divided by 12. And you can see we're going to get $18, and it's like 99386, blah, 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 so 99. The second part here, I'm asking you, what is the payment to principal on this amount? So if I take my original monthly payment of $187.80, and I subtract the $18.99 that's going to the interest, how much is going to the principal? So 187.80 minus 18.99, and we get a grand total of $168.81. So that is the amount that is coming off of the principal. I want to know what's the new balance, so we take our old principal minus new amount that is going to the principal, subtract these values, and let's see what we get. So 2849.08 minus 168.81 equals 2,000. $680.27 will be the new amount that's going to, or the new principal. I'm missing a number in there. Sorry, there should be a 0. Let me back up. 2680. I was looking at that thinking there's something wrong here. 2680.27. That's better. So that's your new amount that's going to the or the new balance. All right, so pause this video. I want you to do this one and see what you get for your final answer. All right, so here are your answers. This is what you should get for these values. If you have any questions on these or any of the problems that we did, feel free to send me an email or a private comment, and I will get back to you.